Saturday. We are coming to you from the Varsity Sports Bar and Grill on Beachmont Avenue in Anderson Township. It is another edition of the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast.
I'm trying to figure out even though it's a Saturday part.
Well, it is. Today's a Saturday.
Well, even though we're here on a Saturday, typically, I don't know what the
we don't do a lot of podcasts on the weekends. I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's a Saturday, and here we are working hard to provide our loyal viewers and our loyal listeners with content that they can enjoy and spread to others.
All right, Dan, keep going.
How about that?
All right, you done?
You like that?
Hey, thank you for introducing me. I'm Rob.
Herking, take it away.
Jason Kiefer is sitting down there. He's manning the board right now. He is furiously trying to sign up our guest for our annual, not anal, Dan, annual, there's a U in there. 2 N's and a U.
Why do you? I'm looking at the screen. Why do you get a ghetto lean to your left every time? When we first start out, you're in the shot, and then all of a sudden you get a ghetto lean.
Talking to Herking?
Yeah.
Hey, baby, is this better right here?
I was just curious. I mean,
I don't know because I looked that way to see you.
He's like a ship listing to port,
and I can't fucking see around Dan half the time. So I'm gonna ghetto lean.
Well, maybe we need to rearrange our setup here. So we only have 3 of us across. Maybe we need to figure out a new way to.
We need to get more cameras
to do the thing.
It's like cowbell. You need more cowbell.
You need more cowbell.
Always need more cowbell. It's
One
going
of
to
the
be a good show.
funniest bits ever.
Sure was.
Saturday Night Live.
You know what? One of the funniest bits ever was last night. I went to a Judge Kirk Kissinger re-election campaign kind of thing over at Randy Corbett's house.
One of our great sponsors.
And guess who was the MC? Unbeknownst to me, Mr. Dan Carroll.
I really wasn't the MC. I was simply there to introduce the judge.
And you did introduce, and it was entertaining as shit. It was Dan up there introducing the judge, talking a little, telling some stories. And then I noticed as I'm sitting at the table that Dan is using his phone for notes. And he
actually, if you want the true story, I had my phone out because I texted some people I know that know the judge. And I just asked them for their thoughts on the judge. They sent them to me, and part of my introduction was to read those thoughts from people that I know that knew the judge, and also work in a pretty good joke about Joe Mixon.
So Dan's reading off these texts back about the judge, and I'm like, fuck, he's using his phone to read this shit. So I start calling his fucking phone. First time he ignores it. The second time he yells at me while he's emceeing to quit fucking calling him.
Well, yeah, it blocks everything I'm trying to read.
No shit, that's the reason I did it.
Rob Herking.
That's why I did it, man. God damn. I had so much fun with that.
Every time you go somewhere, you insist on finding a way to get a shout-out.
No, it wasn't.
And you were not going to stop calling until I said, Herking, stop doing that.
No, I wasn't going to stop calling until you stopped talking.
I'm surprised you stopped him when you said it.
Yeah, I know. I almost did it again, but I didn't. So you did a great job, Dan. Judge Kissinger is a great person. I like Judge. And Randy's house is nice, and his food was phenomenal.
The food was phenomenal. But getting back to Kirk Kissinger for a moment, we need judges in the system, and we have far too many judges here in Hamilton County that want to give, especially young thugs and punks, a slap on the wrist.
I do not ascribe to whatever's coming out of his mouth right now.
And just send them back out the door so they can wreak more havoc, create more innocent victims, and just enjoy their life of crime.
But, you know...
And it happens far too often.
And I'm not even going to say anything in regards to Judge Kissinger. I enjoy judges, though, Dan, and living in this community, I do want law and order. However, I also want judges that will uphold the Constitution and understand what those amendments mean and what the Constitution means and what the law as laid down by our
I want judges who punish people who are guilty. That's what I want.
So you want a judge that assumes everybody's guilty
That's
because
not what
they're
I
in
said.
the fucking court.
Don't put words in my mouth. That is not what I said.
Ooh, yes. Starting
You're talking victims. It's an alleged victim, Dan, until proven guilty. If they're guilty at that point in time, when they're found guilty, yeah, fucking have at it. But until that point in time, I want a judge that's going to uphold the Constitution. That's going to
But that's what I'm saying. There are judges who, even after
Judge Kissinger is one of those judges.
Even after the individual has been found guilty, they give them essentially a slap on the wrist. Oh, here's an ankle monitor. You're going to get, community supervised release. That kind of crap. I mean, that kind of stuff has got to be. I mean, the number of young people that we have shooting each other on the streets of Cincinnati. Thankfully, we don't have that kind of crime in abundance here in Anderson Township. But
the lobster revels. I mean, that's out of control. I cannot believe PETA's not all over that Kroger situation
but
going
that's
on
been
with Hamilton County.
That's been pretty much shut down. If that is still happening,
the milk. Can you imagine what's going on with those female cows that are producing more milk now because kids are throwing the shit in Kroger? Fucking PETA, cops should be all over that shit show. You remember when kids were kids? I mean, fucking Christ. You're on a high horse about juvenile crime and shit. Yeah, the shooters and stuff like that, but settle the fuck down, people. It's 2023, I understand it. People are pissing in litter boxes and shit. But somebody goes into a fucking Kroger and takes a rubber band off a lobster claw? That's some funny fucking shit. You throw some milk, yeah, it's destructive, but it's not a death penalty case.
That's not what I'm talking about, though.
That's kind of what you're leaning. You're going on juvenile rant.
I'm talking about juveniles who are out shooting each other, firing shots from semi-automatic weapons indiscriminately on a crowded downtown street at 4 o'clock in the afternoon.
What about the juveniles?
That's the kind of stuff I'm talking
What about the juveniles in Anderson Township that are having Nerf gun wars that look like real guns, causing alarm and concern in the community, and somebody shoots them thinking his house is being invaded by a group of thugs at 6 o'clock in the afternoon on a Sunday?
In the mean streets of Anderson Township.
Yes.
Well, that's the kind of thing that the justice system is going to have to sort out.
I agree.
You got to take these. I take these things on a case-by-case basis.
I call
But
bullshit. But
there is far too many instances of kids who, and I'm talking about 15, 16, 17-year-olds who get convicted of serious crimes, and then there's judges who just turn a blind eye to that, even though they've been convicted, and let them back out on the streets. And they know there's no parental supervision at home. And that's the kind of stuff that we have to start calling out.
all right, you called it out, Dan.
I did last night, and the judge was very appreciative of my comments.
Oh, he wasn't going to call you an asshole.
Well, he could have.
I like Judge Kissinger. He is one of those judges that abides by the Constitution, gives a person the presumption of innocence, which is fucking lost. It is fucking lost in the United States. Anytime you watch any show, you listen to anything, you read a newspaper article, whatever the fuck it is, something on the internet, there is no presumption of innocence. You're fucked until you prove yourself innocent. And the best part is you're given the prosecutor's office doesn't indict people until they have the investigation completed. Guess what then? The Supreme Court gives judges a limited amount of time to complete a case from filing before they start getting lit up by the Supreme Court on time guidelines. Well, guess what happens? Now you got a defense attorney and a defendant that should be presumed innocent, that's presumed guilty, trying to do an investigation with zero money because these fucking people don't have money. And we're on a time crunch when the state of Ohio or any state had unlimited fucking time to investigate a case, but they're too fucking lazy to pull any kind of evidence that might exonerate this person. So the defense attorney and the defendant have to do this shit show on their own, and they're getting a judge up their ass saying, we got to get this case done. We're going to set a trial. Well, I haven't finished my investigation. Well, you should hurry up. The fucking state didn't. I'm on their timeline. Now I'm on your timeline.
Well, your good friend Nancy Pelosi was the one.
You're the one that was at her house.
I wasn't.
Paul.
I've never been to her house.
Oh, you were at Paul's house with the fucking love handle. Hammer, you know that, Dan. God
Christ.
damn it.
But your friend Nancy Pelosi is the one who said after the Alvin Bragg bogus indictment of Trump for essentially a paperwork error, said that this is an opportunity for Donald Trump to prove his innocence.
Yeah.
I mean, she's got it completely backwards. No, he is presumed innocent.
She is done.
And
She's a realist now. I kind of identify
She
with
doesn't understand that.
I agree with her.
FYI,
And she wasn't the only one who said such a thing.
FYI, I am in text contact with our guest, so trying to work that out. You guys keep arguing.
Well, let's say I'm looking forward to our guest, Lady MAGA USA, and Jason Kiefer. By the way, have you spoken yet on the podcast?
Just very little.
He did.
Very little.
Go ahead.
It's hard to get a word in edgewise with you two idiots.
Please register your.
He just did.
I just did.
Your presence here.
He did.
Apparently, Rob doesn't even. He just wants me to set shit up. He doesn't even want me to talk on the podcast.
No, I want you to
so
talk.
Okay.
I wish you'd mute Dan.
Well, I don't want you to be in pain while you're talking.
I know it's difficult.
I'm the one that introduced you, Keith.
very quick, and then you got into your yelling at Dan.
No, I was there for you.
I was there for you.
I'll always be there for you. Ohio Valley Productions. Got a party going on? Then you need to check out Ohio Valley Productions. OVP is your one-stop shop for corporate functions, fundraisers, festivals, even a backyard barbecue. We're talking about top talent, live acts, DJs, karaoke, trivia, more. That'll have your party rocking. Quality entertainment and a team with the most experience in the business combined to make your event the one to remember. Got a vision for a great time? Make it happen with Ohio Valley Productions. Just drop an email to dan@ohiovalleyproductions.com. That's dan@ohiovalleyproductions.com and rock on. And a little side note. Varner Netherton, part of the OVP community, Ohio Valley Productions, is going to be playing tonight at Upper Deck in Cincinnati. It's down on Kellogg. It is for Kerry Wolfangle and Chris Wolfangle's 1 year anniversary. That's right. They made it 1 year, and we're very proud of them. Chris is our bookie as well, but it's Chris Wolfangle, Kerry Wolfangle 1 year anniversary. If you got nothing else going on tonight, 6:30 tonight, come down to Upper Deck and see a happy couple that made it a year.
And Dan and Nick did a great set last night at the event that we were at.
Yeah, they didn't take notes on their phone and keep their phone on the whole time.
They're musicians. They sing. They don't take notes while
I
they're
thought you were a
performing.
professional. Aren't you a professional MC?
Well, I was reading the text messages
directly
from my phone.
We do have our guest backstage.
Here we go.
So
Here we go. Let's do it.
You wanna prime the pump?
Dan has prime mini a pump, so you go ahead, Dan. You got more experience than me. Just don't read it from your phone.
The first guest that we ever had on the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast is an individual that I first found out about this individual on Twitter, had him on my radio show, and the take that he had about adults who want to target young children when it comes to grooming, when it comes to being transgender, when it comes to being sexualized in the classroom. His take still, in my opinion, stands as one of the greatest takes ever when it comes to calling out these really sick individuals. And ever since then, he has not disappointed. And he goes by, his real name is Ryan Woods, but he goes by the stage name of Lady MAGA USA. And Lady MAGA USA, welcome once again to the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast. How the heck are you?
Good. Hello from Utah. Hello from Utah. And hello from
What the hell is that?
From King. It's a bunny.
What is that?
Bunny. Can't you see him? Can't you see him?
Yeah, I can now.
Wait a minute. I got to put my glasses on. What are you doing with a rabbit?
Well,
Is
I
that-
have
Making stew.
I'm making rabbits. Making rabbits.
No, you're not. You're not going to eat that critter. There's no way.
No way. No. I love animals. And, I always joke. Lady MAGA's USA. USA. Barbie. Kind of Disney. We're done with Disney. Both my parents are dead, and I love animals, so I guess that's why I love Disney princesses.
Hey, Ryan, your audio is cutting in and out. Can you reposition your microphone or do something about that?
On the laptop.
We're hearing about every third word.
Okay, I hear. Is that better?
Let's see.
Yeah.
That is better.
Oh, yeah, that sounds better. That sounds a little bit better.
There was an echo. I could hear an echo before. Now I can't.
Yeah,
Okay.
I went in and changed the setting, so hopefully that fixed it.
Yeah. Well, anyway, all the jokes aside, I have become a poster child for common sense, gays and lesbians, and theatrical people who like to dress up. At the end of the day, it comes down to one fundamental issue that people have with people who dress up or gay, lesbian, anything. And it's that the entire focus of the modern LGBTQIA plus movement is children, specifically trans children. And it's become dangerous. It's become alarmingly scary because I don't understand. In the past, I call myself an OG gay, an original gay. And there's
I like it.
Oh, gee.
No, there's some. I mean, we're the people who, once things settled down and there was inclusion and there wasn't, persecution per se, people were just living their lives. Your hairstylist is gay, nobody cares. Your neighbors are lesbians, they're growing their garden, they're driving their Subaru Outback, nobody cared. Now, there's a massive resurgence of fear and anger toward all people, including original homosexuals. But it's not because of us. It's not because of gays. It's because of Drag Queen Story Hour. And it's not drag queens dressed as Aretha Franklin or Dolly Parton. No, they are reading very carefully selected stories about blurring gender and sexuality. And we've all seen the videos of them dressed in basically bedroom S&M gear in our taxpayer funded spaces in front of, my nieces and nephews. So I've had to just say no and step away because I believe in common sense. I love my lip gloss. Let me put on my lip gloss. I'm different. I'll always be light on my feet, so to speak. But there comes a time where old fashioned gays, so to speak, we got to just step away from this alphabet hijacking of everything that makes sense. Nothing makes sense anymore. So that's my mission. And I unwillingly sort of became a poster child for this issue. I helped get Senate Bill 16 passed here in Utah with Senator Michael Kennedy. And I testified with Chloe Cole. You may have heard of Chloe Cole. She is I think she's 19 or 20 now. They mutilated her body when she was 15. They removed her breasts, and she lives with regret and turmoil because of that decision that she was not old enough to make. So we testified, we got Senate Bill 16 passed. So it is illegal to give children dangerous puberty blockers that permanently alter their bodies. And so, it's just, if they would have just left America's kids alone, we wouldn't be in this mess.
Well, Ryan, let me just stop you right there because what you just talked about is the ongoing debate that is happening all across this country right now, because there is state after state after state that is seeing fit, and we have a bill that's pending here in Ohio to prevent kids or prevent these type of cross-gender therapies and the hormone blockers and the surgeries to kids who are under 18. But when that issue gets kicked around to the White House, well, they call this an attack on transgendered individuals or the LGBT community. So you are really fighting and have been fighting against the biggest juggernaut that is out there. And I commend you for the doggedness and the stick-to-itiveness that you have to continue this fight, because you couldn't be going up against a bigger or more powerful competitor.
Oh, that's true. And, in 2019, when I began this about 4 years ago, the LGBTQIA plus movement, they were on their way to the insanity that they've reached now, but they're militant now. They are a dangerous group. After I testified for Senate Bill 16, I had to be escorted to my car by the Capitol Police at the Utah State Capitol in order to stay safe. They don't believe in diversity of thought. I was recently kicked out of the Utah Pride Festival. I didn't break any of their rules. I bought a ticket. I was discreetly doing little phone videos with a tiny microphone, which was permitted. And I got a tap on the shoulder, and they told me, you must leave the premises. And if you don't, you will be handcuffed and arrested. And they brought the police to threaten me. So my own taxpayer-funded police force was turned against me. I had not caused a scene. I had not instigated an argument. I was doing interviews heart to heart with people because We have to be careful that we don't jump on a bandwagon that everyone in a group is evil. For example, the LGBTQ people. I'm guilty of us versus them, me versus them. But your average person putting a pride flag in their yard, your average person wandering around a pride festival is simply is simply misled. They're trying to do what's right. They think they're being tolerant and inclusive. So I was asking questions. I said, it's Pride Month, celebrating Pride. Are you also proud to be an American? And I got a lot of beautiful answers. But then suddenly, their diversity, inclusion, and non-discrimination language no longer applied to me, and I was kicked out by force. And had
Hey
I not,
Ryan,
yeah,
I've got that pulled up. What you sent me. Are you good if we play that for
be
everybody
great.
that's watching, listening?
Mhm.
All right, just bear with me.
All right, here we go. The kicked out by the tolerant left, tolerant and accepting and loving and caring and all the rest of it. And here we go.
Kicking me out.
Here's the
So
video.
the decision has been made by the people that are producing this event that they do not want you on property anymore, okay?
But
So
they will not tell me why.
you're-
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It's Lady MAGA USA. I was kicked out of the Utah Pride Festival.
Your only option is either you leave willingly or the police escort you off property.
A gay man in a wig in a celebration that's supposed to be all about diversity and inclusion. They told me that if I did not leave, I would be arrested.
So either you leave or you get taken away by the police.
which we don't want to do.
About it.
I just don't know what my infraction is. I haven't done anything.
So if the event decides that you're not welcome anymore, then you are required to leave.
I was there to have dialogue with people. What brought you to Pride today?
Just want to support everyone out there, and I'm trans myself, so it's good to see the community.
Listen, America, we got a lot of issues going on, but the children these days, they don't even know Saved by the Bell or Gem and the Holograms.
I've heard of Saved by the Bell.
My goal was to show that we can have respectful dialogue back and forth. These are not leading questions. We're leading with love. We're celebrating Pride Month here. Are you also proud to be an American?
I am a U.S. citizen as of December, so I am absolutely proud to be an American.
Oh my gosh, that's going to make me cry. I don't like the idea of painting everyone at a Pride festival as evil or predatory because they're not. I wasn't even wearing anything that identified me as Lady MAGA USA because I didn't want to be controversial. We talked about things that we should be fighting about, but we both spoke with kindness. I prayed really heavily before I came here that I would meet the right people who would help the message get out in a positive way, not a us versus them way. Y'all in America, please, more of this. You're incredible. Okay. There is no evidence whatsoever that I did anything disruptive or did anything wrong. I don't want an apology. I want to know specifically why I was kicked out of the Utah Pride Festival. I can't lie. This gets old. If you're a common sense gay or lesbian, please speak out. I'm tired of taking the punches. Join me. God bless you. And please just.
So there you go. So there you are at the Pride Festival.
You cut off the end. I plead with gay and lesbian people to please speak out because we are not losing this battle because of radical leftists. We're not losing this battle because of Drag Queen Story Hour or pedophiles or indoctrination in the schools. We are losing this battle because of the silence and complacency on behalf of everyone who sees something and says nothing and does nothing. 90% of common sense gay men agree with me that a 13-year-old girl cannot consent or understand the ramifications of a mastectomy. Yet they say nothing because they're terrified. 90% of conservative people who love scrolling their social media and talking up a storm at the family barbecue have not gone to one school board meeting. They have not testified at their legislature. They have not sent one email. They let their children be muzzled in school without saying one word. So this is why we're losing. So at the end of that, I just pleaded with, gay and lesbian people to cut the ribbon. I did a ribbon cutting ceremony on my social media dressed up. I had a ribbon and it said LGBTQIA+. And I just did a ceremony and held it and I cut it and I just left the LGB. Like this, this is a completely separate group of people. I don't even identify in the gay community. I don't have a community except America. I'm an individual. I believe in individualism. I believe that's one of the fundamental principles of this country. Collectivism, hive minds, groups, communities. It gets a little dangerous when we start dividing ourselves into different tribes. I'm just an
Completely
American. I'm just an American. I love this country. I don't care that I'm gay. My pride flag is the American flag. I am proud of being a good brother, a good uncle, good neighbor, hard worker, talented dancer, costume artist, very creative, very good at it. That's what I'm proud of. My values and my personality and the things that I choose. I don't understand why people, it's like they have nothing else to be proud of. So they latch on to this idea that you should be proud of your sexuality. And to me, being proud of your sexuality is identical to being proud of your skin color. You shouldn't be ashamed of your skin color, but who cares that I'm white? I didn't choose it. I didn't work for this, you know? So the whole pride hypocrisy. So what bothers me is initially they said, you're not allowed to film and do interviews. Of course you are. They want everyone to go live on their social media and mingle with other people and ask questions and share their event. That's like event success 101. Encourage people to, pull out their phones and document their fun experiences. And at the very last minute, my friends from Los Angeles, these are people who had formerly worked with Gays Against Groomers, great organization. They were doing the same thing as me, and they were told, you guys can stay. He has to leave.
What a crock of shit.
I know. Diversity and inclusion, a gay man in a wig. You're not welcome.
They're killing it out there.
Yeah, diversity of everything except thought. And of course, diversity and inclusion for everyone except white people. That's essentially what diversity and inclusion means. We're making sure that there are not too many white people around here. Even if white people are, 95% of this town, or black people are 10% of the country, 13%. We can't have too many white people. So I'm white, I'm conservative, I'm a Trump supporter. Not a blind celebrity worshiper, but I saw what he did with our country for 4 years.
Yes.
And I know what happened to the man. And my personal belief is 2020 was, about as trustworthy as, a fox in a hen house. It was not good, in my opinion. So,
Well, the other day when you and I talked and you sent me that video, that Twitter video, and it took me a little bit to watch it. Had some things going on, but after I watched it and listening to you, kind of narrate it, like, yeah, there was no evidence that you were doing anything wrong, but yet they had no good answers except for I can't remember if they said the organizers or whatever said you had to leave. And I was sitting there watching it, and I was appalled. I'm like, you've got no video evidence of anything, any wrongdoing. You weren't creating a ruckus. You were actually getting hugs from people. I mean, it was the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
What scares me the most is that I could understand why our tax dollars would pay for police to be at the event to maintain law and order and ensure that no American citizen was harmed. That would make sense to me. But instead of just keeping the peace and making sure that there was nothing dangerous happening, they were used as the organizer's personal social coordinator. And that's disgusting. That's your tax dollars and mine, being turned against me. And just watching those police officers who said on camera, we don't want to do this. Of course they didn't want to do it. I'm sure they were humiliated. I hope they're humiliated. I hope they speak up. I have a friend, his name is Eric Mutzos. He's a very big influencer here in Utah. He was a Salt Lake City police officer. He was fired for being a bigot and a homophobe because the Pride celebration, he said, I will provide protection for people, but I will not do dog and pony tricks in the parade. And because he refused to participate in the parade, as a performer, not a police officer, he was fired. So he called out the Salt Lake City Police Department. Y'all, it's actually really scary. It's really scary to see our men and women in uniform being used to enforce open and legitimate LGBTQIA plus preferences and the agenda, kicking me out. There's a well-known drag queen who is on the board of activities. I don't have any proof of this, but I'm speculating that man was part of the decision-making team, recognized me, knew me, got me kicked out. So it's, their actions don't bother me as much as the silence and complacency of gay and lesbian people. I wouldn't be kicked out if they knew how powerful we are and how many millions of people agree with me in what I say, including you guys. I mean, we couldn't be more opposite, so to speak, but our fundamental American principles and values are completely in alignment. We just have different interests and hobbies and lifestyles. And my dress up as Lady MAGA is theatrics. It's fun. It's comedy. It's a good time. It's not sexual, and it's not meant to confuse or indoctrinate anyone. And I have over 56 nieces and nephews and great nieces and nephews.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 8 children. Giant.
Oh, it is Utah after all.
It is Utah.
Well, giant Mormon family. And, when it comes to explaining Uncle Ryan to my nieces and nephews, I would never dream of attempting to present anything to them without their parents understanding. I just talk to the parents, say, okay, I was married to a man before. And I talk to the parents, say, how do you want me to explain this? Do you want me to call him my husband? What are you comfortable with?
Right.
Because those kids belong to their parents. It's not up to me to educate anyone else's children.
It's not what Joe Biden says.
Oh, I know. Or Hillary, it takes a village to raise a child.
Corinne Jean-Pierre. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and from a 10,000 foot view, you would think, obviously this month, you being at that Pride gathering, that would be your safest place.
Oh,
at least,
no,
at least for this month. But you would think from a 10,000 foot view. But when you get into it, it's the complete opposite.
It quite literally is the complete opposite. I have been assaulted by the left in San Francisco. My hat was ripped off, punched in the stomach, got the wind knocked out of me. I've been shoved over at a at an event at the Utah State Capitol, shoved to the ground when I turned my back.
That one.
Yeah, these people don't believe in any sort of tolerance and inclusion. And the reason they're so afraid of a 6'2" man in a big Barbie wig, talking to people and chit-chatting and joking about Saved by the Bell. I was deliberately being overtly kind. It's so easy for man on the street interviewers to go for the viral moment. I could have been provocative. I could have even deliberately gotten myself kicked out, knowing it could potentially go viral. But I honestly just believe divide and conquer is the ultimate goal of the globalist elites. They want us to hate each other. So how can we not hate each other? We can talk. The girl who said she's proud to be an American, she's a Mexican. And in her group of people, I asked about the border. And one girl said they just found a little girl with 64 different DNAs in her.
Oh, my God.
That's what she said. She's at the Pride Parade. She's Mexican. And then she openly said, I support Donald Trump. I support a strong border because I care about these children. So it was phenomenal to just talk as human beings back and forth. And that trans person, listen, I don't think that person's life choices are necessarily healthy, but they're an adult. And that person came from a conservative family and a liberal family. So he knew that, all conservatives are not evil. It was just a beautiful conversation. We talked for 25 minutes, and the articulation and the sincerity was so awesome. And I really felt a bond with this person, not because I'm gay or they're trans, but because it was so nice to be on the polar opposite side, so to speak, and have a dialogue and realize we agree. It sounds
Well, and
very
your key point is an adult.
exactly.
And she made a choice, and that's fine. I think we all align. If that's what you want to do once you are an adult, by all means, have at it. I may not agree with it, but I'm not going to hate on you for it. But you're an adult.
That is the one and only issue right now, because America was entirely and completely over the gay issue, over it.
And
just done.
I don't think
one cared. No one cared. Nobody cared.
It's a lack of agreement either. It's just, I fucking agree with you. Not that I'm not that way, but nonetheless, I agree with you. You know what? I agree with you being happy. I agree with you making a decision as an adult to be happy, as long as, just like me. I mean, if you caught me on your front yard with, I don't know, 4, 18, 20-year-old women banging away, butt ass naked, that might offend you. As long as it doesn't infringe on your right to be happy, your happiness doesn't infringe on my right to be happy. Fucking live your life, everybody. Get off of other people's shit, but don't do it to the kids. I mean,
there's two rules. Your rights end where my rights begin. I'm libertarian at heart, reluctantly Republican, because you got to be effective. But I agree with you. If the neighbors are snorting coke every night in their basement, I believe that is wrong. I believe that is unhealthy. But I believe they should be able to do that as long as my tax dollars don't have to pay for their rehab.
I mean, Dan's got a whole herd of goats in his basement. It doesn't bother me what he does, and I have a feeling
not true.
Know, but
that is not true. Ryan, he knows that's not true. Come on, man.
But I agree. I mean, I don't give two shits as long as I'm not paying for it. I don't have to deal with it. Right. It doesn't upset my happiness.
Right. And so that's rule number one. Your rights end where mine begin, mine end where yours begin. You know, it can't infringe on other people's rights to peace, happiness, safety, whatever. And then rule number two is we must protect the vulnerable. And that includes children, that includes the mentally disabled, and that includes the elderly. So anything you're doing that hurts the vulnerable, meaning people who are not fully mentally capable of understanding what's going on around them, or how life decisions can affect them, they must be protected. So this is common sense. But people are always so shocked. Like, how are we at this point in this country where people think a young girl can get a mastectomy? We have to stop being shocked. The puppeteers at the top are literally aggressively looking for the destruction of our health, of our mental health, of our communities, of the family, of small businesses, so they can usher in, after a great season of chaos, which they love and they encourage, the people who orchestrated Drag Queen Story Hour, they never once, I guarantee, the drag queens themselves or those people, maybe they thought they were doing a good thing. But the people at the top knew how controversial and divisive and terrible this was going to be. And they sat back and they watched the show. They watched conservatives freak out. They watched the LGBTQ people freak out, and they love it. They love the chaos. So we have to remember that it all comes down to that ultimate goal of chaos and then ushering in a solution for your safety.
So, Lady MAGA, the current debate that's going on this, the left has found a new argument that they like to throw out there, and they want to call people like me hypocrites because they're saying that if you live in a state where they want to ban kids from having the cross-gender surgeries and the therapies and the drugs and all that, well, then you are usurping parental rights, because what if the parent is in favor of their kid having these types of drugs and therapies and surgeries?
Go to another state. It's called a republic.
Well, my question to you is how do you respond? I'm sure you've heard that argument. How do you respond when you hear that argument, that new argument that they've brought forward? Because Sonny Austin was using that on The View the other day.
Yeah, no, they're brilliant in presenting that argument, because it sounds great. it's a euphemism, just like affirmative gender affirming care or women's health care, to hide what's really going on. They have proven time and time again that they do not believe in parental rights, because when it's in their court, and a father in Texas, this is documented, a father in Texas does not want his child to undergo any sort of bodily alterations or even identity alterations or name changes. When that father resisted that, he was accused of child abuse, and they wanted to take the child from him.
What if the father in Texas wanted his 15-year-old son to be able to have sex with his 11-year-old daughter? Is that child abuse?
That's a perfect example.
What
Where
the fuck?
parental rights end, where the fundamental human rights of a child begin.
Yeah. That can't even prosecute its own human rights because it's a minor and it's beholden to the parent's whim. That is a bullshit argument. I mean, if I, all right, as a parent, you know, I'm in a state that says you can't let your kids have sex with dogs. And I, as a parent, say, fuck this. I want my kid to be able to have sex with a dog. We bought a dog. We went to the SPCA. Thank you, PETA. Fuck you. And that's what I want to do. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to get prosecuted. My kid's going to fucking get prosecuted, but we're okay with people lopping off dicks, tits, and everything else. It's fucking asinine argument. It is such a bullshit asinine argument the left makes. And they spin it for these lemmings that'll fucking jump off a cliff. Oh my God, I saw this on Sally Jesse the other day. Oh my God, Jerry, R.I.P. Jerry. But nonetheless, you get what I'm saying. It's fucking stupid.
That might be the most intelligent analogy I've ever heard you use.
Oh, it's fucking dumb.
You were spot on. You were spot on. I'm giving you accolades right now.
Fuck.
Another analogy that actually is essentially identical. Before I give this analogy, keep in mind that puberty blockers and any sort of genital alteration does reduce the capacity for intimate sensations later in life, which is a form of sexual abuse.
So does marriage, by the way, and you guys wanted it, so you got it.
It's the opposite of sexual abuse, where an abuser, engages someone in a sexual sensation. It's removing their sexual sensation. So female genital mutilation is rampant in Islamic countries. Mm-hmm. It is also a major issue in Michigan and Minnesota,
where there are large Muslim communities.
Somalia, specifically. Yep. Somalians.
Huge.
So arguing that a parent has the right to cut off body parts, cut off the breasts of a young girl, or alter the genitalia, the penis of a minor, knowing that the altered new vagina will not be capable of an intimate sensation. Is that not the same thing as female genital mutilation, where they remove
a sure piece
of anatomy? So as a parent in one of those communities, am I able to take my daughter, who is 14, and because it's my daughter, I can do whatever I want, right? In those states. And, I really want to have sex with her, but I want her to have C+ cup. So I can go get breast implants put on that.
This is the counter argument to their parental. Can you tattoo their whole body?
No.
Can you put a ring in their lip so it hangs down for diversity and Wakanda forever? No, you can't.
People are fucking nuts. Absolutely fucking nuts. I thought the whole time Dan was talking about animal groomers, the dog groomer down the street and shit.
That's not what I'm talking about.
I know. I'm fucking with you, Dan.
So Ryan, let's change the subject. Let's talk about some fun stuff.
Yeah.
How many letters are left out of 26 letters in the alphabet? This is one question I had. Out of 26 letters in the fucking alphabet, I know they got the LGBTQ, and then they got the plus thing. How many letters are left that they haven't used yet in this entire fucking tirade of pluses?
It's confusing as hell.
The plus is about recruitment. Their movement is about recruitment. You have to understand that. The ever expanding letters, Q means nothing. Queer, questioning, it means nothing. These are not homosexual people. These are not transgender people. Intersex means people with a medical condition. They have nothing to do with people who are gay or trans or bi. And then A is asexual. Asexual means they are not interested in sexual intercourse. And by the way, people are going to say that's the Illuminati triangle. No, that was an A. Okay. So the A, why would asexual people be included in this alphabet? And then the plus is join us. That's their message. Join us. You like purple nail polish? You're a guy and you like a little eyeliner? Oh, you're one of us. Now you're part of a community. And it's specifically about recruitment of white people.
Have you seen my toenails? Is that what you're saying?
I hope I haven't seen your toenails.
No, I mean,
it would be a bad day for you, Ryan, if you saw it.
Put it this way, both our toes are going to be curling if you're going to see my toenails. But nonetheless, I do have purple.
Oh
I think they're orange now.
This dude is definitely not a Mormon from Utah.
I'm a fucked up American from Ohio.
It's about recruitment of white people. Why? Because the trend is everybody's a victim. Everybody's part of a special group. If you go on Netflix, you see black voices, women creators, blah, blah, blah. So where can a white kid feel special and be part of the victim trend? The only place they can do that is LGBTQ.
What
so
happened to the Klan? I thought the Klan was doing that same motivational recruitment.
What's that?
I thought the Klan was doing the same thing, though, recruiting the where can you belong? The Klan. I mean, it does sound clannish. KKK, fucking LGBTQ plus.
Oh, their group and their ideology is identical. I mean, they follow Rules for Radicals by Saul Alinsky, and they
sure
follow
do.
the same methodology of a group like the KKK. Make people afraid, make people angry, make it us versus them.
Yes.
Join us. You're part of a special movement. It's
Charles
identical.
Manson capitalized on it.
I'll tell you what, though, that is excellent analysis. And Ryan, we appreciate you doing that. I want to change the subject about some of the fun stuff you've been doing. How many documentaries have been made about Lady MAGA USA now?
Well, I wouldn't call like the news stories and the Rolling Stone and all that.
No, the Rolling Stone wasn't a documentary, but you've had film crews from other countries following you around and making feature length documentaries about you.
Yeah, Japan, Germany, and most recently Sweden.
How about that?
Which I find fascinating because American conservative media on the whole completely ignores me. And they're stupid. They need my voice. They need a person who can fight their narrative in a new and a fresh way. But people like Matt Walsh call me an embarrassment and a perversion. And the big conservative news outlets, aside from a few, I mean, Dinesh D'Souza, other people, I've talked to them, but it's too controversial because I dress up and they don't want to touch it. But international journalists, like when I look at the locations of people who follow me, I'm international. And it's because I make sense. And there's this idea that because you dress up, because you're a drag queen, so to speak, I prefer costume artists now because the term drag queen has been destroyed. They get it and they engage with my content. I went viral across Spain and I fortunately speak Spanish. So I've made a lot of new friends in Spain.
Hola. Yes, that's excellent.
Yeah, this is a global fight, not just in the United States. And to the people like, who hate me, or even Matt Walsh, one of his top staffers quit. I mean, he loves the division. He loves the us versus them narratives. I love his work. I love his books. I love What is a Woman. But you have to remember in the end, the bigwigs, they only make money if people are afraid, angry, and divided. So they are guilty of perpetuating the divide and conquer. That's the goal from the on high. And my argument to anybody who says you're not a real conservative, you're a perversion, they always throw a Bible verse at me that a man shall not wear a woman's garment. We must go back into the Bible and read the entire verse, which begins with the statement, a woman shall not wear a garment that pertaineth to a man. They never quote that part. My mother, God rest her soul, she dressed up as Jack Sparrow on Halloween and other times. She loved dressing up as Jack Sparrow, facial hair. And so in my mind, dressing up as the persona Lady MAGA USA is factually the equivalent of my mom dressing up as Jack Sparrow. It's what you do with your artistry that counts.
Hey,
Are you
Ryan,
there to make people laugh?
Ryan,
Yeah.
have you ever quoted them back Psalm 23:4? Ye, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. This is the best part. For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Fuck them. I quoted that in my head on the way down the aisle when I was getting married. But
It's the only guy I know that quotes a Bible verse and then drops the F-bomb immediately afterwards.
Well,
that may be a first.
God created everything, Dan. He created people that created cuss words.
I'm just saying.
On a serious note, I have my cross right here. I am just over 5 months sober. I plunged into
Congratulations on that, by the way.
the loss of my career in the airline industry. They fired me over my hateful social media. I lost my mom. I lost everything. So I'm sober. And the reason I mention that is because I don't have time to go to AA meetings, but the main reason you're supposed to go is to share your story and give hope to the people who are looking for hope in that meeting. And this is a form of reaching thousands of people every time I mention that. So if you're struggling with alcoholism out there, if you're in those dark moments of despair and you don't think there's a way out, turn your heart over to God. Miracles happen.
Right. You reach more people on social media than you will ever in an AA meeting, even if you were doing 24/7 AA meetings.
That's right. And that's how I justify it. And I do study my quotes and the things like that, but I'm not even tempted. Quite literally in my car, I went to a rehab. We could do a whole podcast about this. I went to a rehab center. I was told masks would not be enforced in the intake office. They drove me to the center. They enforced muzzling. Even the detox at the hospital didn't enforce muzzling. And I told them, I need my bag. I am leaving. I cannot muzzle myself for an entire month, especially when the hospital didn't even require it. And I asked them, can you take them off for group fitness? Yes. Can you take them off to eat? Yes. So I left and people were furious with me saying, you should just wear a mask. It's more, your sobriety is more important. So I was desperate. I thought the rehab place was going to help me. And I just prayed in my car, and the burden was instantaneously lifted. I don't know how that happened. As an alcoholic, drinking early in the morning, I had no idea how it happened. So I credit God, I credit the Lord. And there are those who say, you're not a real Christian because you dress up. Honey, I don't think God cares. Look at the founding fathers, wigs, bows, tights, heels. Look at Versailles, look at Egypt, look at the Aztecs covered in glitters, sparkles, feathers. It's just when those of us who are different are used as a weapon to push transgender ideology or to push the destruction and moral destruction of children and break their innocence. That's when it's a problem. So a lot of naysayers say, oh, you should just do everything as you. You're brilliant as you. Ryan is you. And I say, yeah, but I wouldn't have reached 1/8 of the people that I've been able to reach, which is millions, without that over the top uniform.
Ryan, just tell him Charlton Heston came down from the mountains in the movie wearing a dress.
Yes.
So they kiss your ass. And he was holding 2 stone tablets.
Right.
Written by the hand of God.
Yes, sir.
That's what he said.
Ooh, that's pretty good. That was
my Charlton. I love Charlton.
That was pretty good.
My priest always wear a skirt, and I wore a dress when I was an altar boy.
Now we always love having you on and talking to you, and we've gotten, since we've gone video and gone on to YouTube, this is the first time we've been able to, we've had you on via phone, and obviously you've been on Dan's radio show multiple times, but we were trying to time it to where it was the anniversary, which was June 1st of last year when we talked to you first, but obviously schedules and whatnot didn't help it. You are always fun to talk with, and I follow you on your social media. I encourage anybody that's watching / listening.
You can find the link scrolling right now.
Yeah, we're scrolling LadyMagaUSA.com.
I think Ryan's was the first one we put up on the website too.
Yeah, I think
probably. Yeah.
Yep.
Great guest.
So you are an original gay and also an original gangster, because you were one of our first guests. So
you are the OG.
I truly am honored to speak with you, gentlemen. I do hate that I have to be pigeonholed to discuss these issues because I want to talk about our border. I want to talk about ESG. I want to talk about social.
Let's get him back.
Yeah, we'll have you on multiple times.
You can get on anytime you want, man.
Right now, this is the calling God's given me because visually and because of, I'm gay or whatever, this is a calling. And I don't see them slowing down, but here in Utah, little kids cannot be drugged and mutilated. And I was a part of that. And if that's the one and only accomplishment that I've achieved as Lady MAGA, then it's good. But I'm going to get my podcast going, and it's going to be a heck of a lot of comedy. And, for example, I'm going to do an entire episode talking like this, like a Long Island Jewish woman.
Boston,
Listen, honey, life is too short for short nails. Okay, so we're going to talk about LGBTQ, this alphabet, what this nonsense, all this alphabet, castration, mutilation, mastectomies. What's going on? Let's
do an episode, Ryan, together where we do the Jerky Boys, man. We just do prank calls and shit for people.
Oh, we have to make
in a fucking Jersey accent, man.
Listen, all I know is I'm tired of politics. I'm tired of talking about all this stuff. Let's spice it up. Add a little nutmeg. Add a little nutmeg. Make it more interesting.
You know what we may do today too? Kiefer and I talked about it yesterday. I may go down to the Jehovah's Witness down here with a white shirt on and my name on my shirt and holding a Bible and ask them, knock on the fucking door and ask them if they've accepted Jesus Christ as their Lord and Savior. And then try to return my book of Dianetics over here at the Christian Scientist Church. They got a library over here. You got to have humor with it, and I would love to do some prank ass calls. That would be fun. And
I would love it. Let's call the Pride Center and say, "Hey, my 10-year-old, I caught him in my bathroom. He picked up my compact. He looked in the mirror at himself in my compact. He's a goyle. How can we get him hormone surgery?"
Oh my God!
Hey, I got this rainbow flag, and I think the red and orange are starting to bleed together. I don't know. The red, white, and blue thing never runs, but that red and orange is running. Can I get a new flag?
We gotta have fun because it's so heavy. That's one of the lessons I learned in my sobriety is I can't be a doomsdayer. Because guess what? It's a beautiful day outside. America's still wonderful. There's delicious food to eat. There's beautiful people in our lives. There's mountains to climb. There's everything. So I just refuse to get caught up in the doomsday, because if it's doomsday, it's doomsday. And if there's nothing we can do, there's nothing we can do. So you do what you can, and then you go out there and you look for the butterflies. You look for the baby bunny.
What you're saying right now kind of echoed to me a little bit. You remember Radio Underground? This is almost like we're on CB radios doing conservative underground. Like we're hiding at multiple locations. Nobody knows exactly where we are. And we're expressing conservative views, the fundamental views that this country was founded upon. And they're taboo to talk about on any big network access, but we're going to conservative underground. One more and I'm out of here. Conservative underground segment. I like it.
Could be something.
We'll get Jane Fonda to do a promo.
Is that like the One More and I'm Out of Here news network?
Yeah, that
was established in Clayton, North Carolina.
Yeah, it was impromptu.
No, I love the idea. We got to have fun. Listen, gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. I say ladies and gentlemen because that's what we are. Disney parks, they won't say ladies and gentlemen.
It's can't say that anymore. Yeah, you're a hater. You're a hater if you say that.
You're a hater. All these people on the left, they're absolutely. See, once I switch into the accent, it just doesn't stop. And I can also do. I could do a whole listen. I could do a whole episode. I could do a whole episode as somebody, a queen from Southern Alabama. Girl, I mean, I could get fired up as a sparkler at a 4th of July barbecue. Yes, I could.
Jesus.
And then, of course, at the very end, it's always fun to be British and have a cup of tea. Talk about the issues, but you have to say the word "sort of" a lot. That I've noticed that they do that. It's just a sort of.
Oh my God!
It would be cool.
I've got 5 broken ribs, and I'm laughing so hard it hurts.
I think Apple
come
up with a Southern Surrey.
I'm going to talk about environmental social governance. I'm going to talk about Sleepy Joe. I'm going to talk about issues, but in a way that keeps you entertained and has fun. And actually, the good news is, watch this discovery. When I speak in English, I'm speaking from right here because culturally, And normally in American English, we speak from the throat. It's coming from right here. That's why I have a raspy voice, because I always speak from down here. But if you go ahead and just switch into your British, you're right up here, resonating from your nose, and you're going forward, speaking right here. And I truly believe that the Lord created us and wanted us to resonate from up here. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you see the difference?
I do, but I tell you, I'm still thinking that Apple needs to come up with a Southern Surrey. That would fucking wake me up and turn me on in the morning.
Oh my
What can I
God.
do for you?
I like the fact you call it Surrey instead of Siri.
Is it Siri?
It's Siri.
What's cereal?
Was that your attempt at a Southern accent?
No, it wasn't, Dan. Shut
It's-
up. Are you wearing the same shirt you wore last week?
Oh, here we go. The
my-
stepbrothers are starting to fight.
Sorry.
Why would
Sorry,
you
you
ever-
had to be privy to that.
Now, why would you ever consider wearing the same shirt twice? A problem. He's saving water. He's helping prevent climate change.
It
Hey,
smells like it hasn't
It
been
was
on
it
water.
was on the floor of the bedroom this morning, so yeah, it could be.
And his wife's out of town, so that's why.
He's probably wearing the same underwear he had shoved in his mouth last night.
Oh my goodness! You know, I'm going to overlook that one and overlook it. It's rather nasty. You seem to be a rather nasty man.
Yes, Dan is.
Welcome to the One More and I'm Out of Here podcast.
No, it's great. Yeah. So you guys are amazing. You know, if ever you know of an opportunity for me to debate a leftist, I'm not going to try and get the Ben Shapiro one-liner and corner them. I want to just, I want to engage with them, because the echo chambers are amazing. They keep us motivated. They keep us informed. But unless we have dialogue with these people and awaken hearts and touch their hearts and their minds with rational compassion, okay, we don't have to cave and admit that any sort of lie is true that they're saying, but we got to reach them. And my friend, my nephew was having a barbecue at his house with Mormon people. They were having a nice, good old jolly time, and one of the Mormon couples was calling their little girl him. And we're in a time where everybody's in their own little bubble. We gotta reach out, just like I did at that Pride thing. You know, I love the fight. I love the we're right, you're wrong. It feels good, but it's like scratching a scab. You're not supposed to scratch it. You're supposed to let it heal. And we got to try and reach people. Maybe I'm just naive. Maybe I'm too much, into the kumbaya side of it. But would you agree that?
Well, the issue is when it comes to having a discussion or a debate with those on the left, is that they will not engage in that. They will not come to the table. They will not entertain your ideas. They will not listen to what you have to say. It's just like when you showed up at that event you were at a week or so ago. And what did they want to do? They didn't want to hear what you had to say. They wanted to cancel you.
They wanted to silence you.
Yeah, they want to shut you down. They don't want to hear. And there can be. It's like I say about the media all the time. There can be only one narrative, and that narrative is now the approved government-sanctioned narrative that comes from the White House or the state or the DNC or anything like that. So the whole notion that you're going to engage in a reasonable, thoughtful discussion with those on the left is pie in the sky. And it's just simply not going to happen because they refuse to do it. And if they do it, then it will only be a matter of minutes before they start calling you a Nazi, a hater, and just the worst kind of pejoratives they can possibly toss at you.
You're absolutely right. That's why I asked for your help in finding someone to publicly debate.
Yep.
No one will engage.
I try to find it for my radio show all the time. They won't come on.
No. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but we will.
And Gary Jeff, I know you've been a guest on Gary Jeff's show too. I mean, he loves having you on. Yeah. And he tries the same thing. They just won't do it.
That's right. But
Ryan, we're gonna let you go, brother. Thank you so much for coming on, and scheduling was a little bit troublesome, but we'll do better next time. We'll get it squared away, but we definitely want to have you back on here soon because you're one of our favorite guests. I know,
and we'll talk about something different, like the border.
Lady MAGA USA.
It's been my honor. I absolutely adore all of you. I love talking to you. Talking to you is like butter.
I got to run to my car real quick. I'll be back. I'm going to go watch Wahlburgers tonight and get in character.
Lady MAGA USA.
Where? So I've got LadyMagaUSA.com scrolling across the bottom of the screen.
Yeah.
Where else can anybody find you?
I primarily only engage with 3 platforms. They're mainstream platforms. I want to milk them for all they're worth. Twitter, Lady MAGA USA, Facebook, Lady MAGA USA, and Instagram is LMUSA 1776 because I've been kicked off multiple times. That's
It's like us and Facebook. We haven't hit Instagram censors yet.
LMUSA.
To my knowledge, at least.
1776. Yeah. All right, gentlemen. God bless you. God bless America. King Henry says,
Ryan, we'll catch you later, brother. Thank you.
all right.
Thank
King
you.
Henry says thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother.
God bless you. Love you. Talk to you soon.
See you, buddy.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Dinner.
Oh, look at that bunny. Look at that. I think it's a hare. I'm not sure, but
I don't know what the difference
maybe it
is.
might have been a jackalope. Who knows?
Do you know how to spell hair, Dan?
HARE. That's how you
just checking. There was
hair.
a pause. I was just curious if you knew.
He is so well spoken and
It's terrific.
he's awesome. I love
I
having
love
him
it.
on, and we were.
I
I was hoping we weren't going to get big timed
Oh, Ryan.
because we were having a hard time, getting a hold of him, but it all worked out. So
Ryan is awesome, and it's just amazing that somebody is that outspoken, out front on the issue that he needs to be. And the fact that he's reaching so many people on social media right now, we all bitch about social media, but it does give him the avenue, and it gives us the avenue to be able to share the views that people need to hear and quit being the morons, the lemmings that read your fucking CNN, MSNBC feed and just march along.
well, the courage that he has to go to these events, and I mean, we talked with him in the past where, like you said, he got beat up. He had what was the group that he ended up having like a security force essentially? What was that group?
It was a bike gang.
It wasn't Proud Boys.
Yeah, it was Proud Boys.
Was it Proud Boys? It was. Yeah, but it was.
I think it was. I don't know. Ryan will tell us next time.
But it was a right wing group, and that's where he is finding acceptance. That's where he's finding.
Isn't that crazy? How
fellowship is with. Not with leftist extremists. It's those on the right.
That's so
It is
odd
strange.
that the right wing, the demonic right wing,
Yeah.
the so-called conservatives, are the ones that are most accepting. That's fucking old. You know what else?
Yeah. Even though they might totally disagree with his lifestyle and the way he does things.
I put a comment at the dyslexia and diversity both start with D's, but you know what it also does? Democrats.
Yeah, well, it's
Fucking A. And
a good
dickheads. And dumbasses.
Today's letter D is brought to you by Rob Herking.
You're welcome. Ooh.
but Ryan Woods, Lady MAGA USA, absolutely fantastic. And what he said that is so disappointing is that right-wing media has marginalized him, pushed him to the side, refused to accept him. I've contacted everyone. I don't know, 4 or 5 people that work at Fox News. And I've told them you have to have this guy on as a guest. And Tucker Carlson wound up having a couple of different drag performers on to talk about these issues. And he just would have blown these people out of the water compared to the guests that they've had on. And so right-wing media, if anyone involved in that at all is listening to this podcast, you're missing the boat by not having Lady MAGA on as a regular guest.
I would agree. Ryan is awesome, Lady MAGA. Sharon, he's always willing to share his views, and his views aren't. I mean, it's not what he says to offend. I mean, and get like he was saying earlier, the soundbite. That is his view.
Well, he doesn't hate. He doesn't hate anyone. Those on the left.
I don't even think I said anything about hate. I'm just saying those are his actual views.
But the way he's portrayed by those on the left as a hater and a fearmonger and all the rest, and that is not what he is about at all. He's not about any of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
If you listen to that video that we played,
Quit being pussies, everybody. Get
the
right
video
on.
that we played. He's talking to these and is simply asking a question. He's not engaging in debate. He's not trying to proselytize. He's not trying to, get these people to change their views at all. And if when I listened to that video the first time I saw it, I still, even though these people were attending this gay pride event, I hear a lot of confusion in their voices. I hear a lot of confusion in their answers.
I agree. I agree.
And he didn't try to draw that out of them. He simply asked a question, put the microphone in front of him, and they said what they said. And he was totally accepting of their answers.
You know what kills me too about the left? If you look at half their arguments, you can sit there and try to debate them in an open field at a political rally. And if they don't have an answer, if they don't have something that's intelligent in their mind or whatnot to retort on, they resort to sixth grade playground bullshit. Like, no, your mom's fatter.
Right.
Type it. No, you're racist. No, you're anti-Semitic. No, you're this, that, and the other. Put a fucking anti in front of everything. That's their go-to. And it's just like saying your mom's fat, your dad's stupid, or whatever. It's just asinine. That's why they're too much of a bunch of pussies to get online and debate anybody or come on a show and debate anybody. A realistic show, not a fucking safe haven like CNN, MSNBC, or BBC. Come out, fucking debate, have a conversation, and don't resort to, I'm going to throw a fucking rock in your face or your mom's fat or whatever. Quit being pussies. It's about conversation. It's about dialogue. Express your opinion. Maybe you change my mind. Fuck, I'm not trying. I know I'm not going to change your mind, but at least let's get the thoughts out there so other people can maybe have a diverse set of opinions or a diverse set of conversation to reflect upon and maybe make up their own fucking mind instead of you beating it in their head with nonsense.
And that's the hard part is everybody wants to hide behind a keyboard versus actually having a conversation.
Yeah.
I'm sure there are some people that'll listen to this or our older podcast with Ryan, Lady MAGA. And when we said who we were having on, some people that we know, they're like, what?
Yeah, why?
But then once they listen, and you take a second, and you hear where he's coming from and how he approaches it, they're like, holy shit, that was a great interview. That guy's great.
I should have gone to med school. There's a lot of myopic people. I could have been an optometrist and made a shit ton of money.
Judging a book by its cover obviously does not, because I'm the first to admit when Dan wanted to bring him on last year, I was like, okay, yeah, we'll try. I mean, I don't know what this is going to go like. And I've come to enjoy him. Like, I follow him on social media. I mean, I try to keep up with what he's doing. And it's just, and I'm guilty. I trying, attempting to judge a book. And I was completely wrong. And thoroughly enjoy whenever he's on.
So before we start winding this down, we want to thank one of our great sponsor that we've had on before, Randy Corbett of Corbett Graphics. And we just recently got some new banners done, and Randy Corbett helped us out once again. The One More and I'm Out of Here banner that you see over the top of my head, that was created by Corbett Graphics. And here's one of the services that we don't talk about a lot when it comes to Corbett Graphics. But if you're starting a business or you're starting something where you need to be identified, you need a logo, that's one of the things they can help you out with. Look, it's not an easy process. You can write something down, scribble something down with a crayon on a cocktail napkin or something like that, and say, I want that logo to look like this. But they've got the artists and the background and the know-how to make your corporate logo, your business logo, your personal identification really pop and really be something that gets people's attention. And that's just one of the services that Corbett Graphics is really, really good at. So for all your signage needs, check them out at CorbettGraphics.com. Also, you'll find Corbett Graphics on Facebook and on Twitter. And the guy does work all over the place, including some of the biggest venues in and around the Cincinnati area. So, again, for all your signage needs, anything you need in that particular area, call our buddy Randy Corbett. And again, look him up at CorbettGraphics.com.
And I will tell you another thing. We were at Randy's last night for Kissinger's thing.
That was a fun event.
Fun event, very open, very, very welcoming individual, and very authentic, nice guy. And he is going to do your business very well. So check out Randy Corbett. He's been a huge sponsor. The only mistake he ever made in life was hiring Dan. I'm joking, but
there's got to be a couple.
There's going to be a little dig there. But nonetheless, I mean, we'll find somebody for Ryan to debate.
I would love that.
It would be awesome, and we'll get Dan somebody for his show and all that other stuff. But I'm kind of thinking Dan might be a Democrat. You know why? Because he dodges a fucking question weekly.
The question.
Do you manscape?
Asked and answered.
Do you manscape?
Asked and